Hello, and welcome to the templates for ESOL 1, 2, and 3. I just want to take a second and welcome you to Teaching StudySync if this is your first time, and welcome you back if you're a returning StudySync teacher. These templates for ESOL 1, 2, and 3 were created by teachers for teachers as to how to best implement the rigorous curriculum and routines that StudySync provides you. So here you can see this is the homepage for ESOL 1 and 2. The homepage and template for ESOL 3 is almost identical, just different content. And here you can see buttons linked to each module that was written in order to give the teachers more information as to how to implement this curriculum in your classroom. So if you click on Getting Started, you can see that there is a teacher introduction that was written again by teachers for teachers with helpful tools and tips and tricks that you might want to know starting out teaching StudySync. Also, information on standards and objectives. If this is your first time teaching to Common Core standards, there's some information there. Also, the ELA overviews for grades 6, 7, and 8. And here's some fun tech information on Canvas and how to customize templates. Then we start off with the social emotional learning module. This information was created on things that you can do with your students, both in person and on a digital classroom, to better implement mental health and wellness, keeping students engaged in online learning, and fun activities to do with your students to implement social emotional learning. So I encourage you to take a second and look at that. Then we jump down to blended learning. Blended learning is an idea and a teaching technique that StudySync advocates for using in your classroom. And to be honest, I didn't even know much about it teaching StudySync my first year. But here is some great background information and resources in these two links provided as to what blended learning is, why it's important, and just give you some helpful tips as to how using student voice can inform your instructional practices, and even some Google slides that were used in a real classroom as to how to set up stations. Then we jump into building background knowledge. And this is a key element of teaching any ESOL student. But here's an example of how to do listening, turn and talk, um, two ways of setting up grammar goals, either in quiz format or Juicy Sentence Protocol. If you're not familiar with Juicy Sentence Protocol, this is a great way of teaching grammar in context of your stories that StudySync provides. And there is a lot of information here, even a great video um, of a teacher actually doing juicy sentences in her classroom, and some resources that you can go to down here. If we go back to our modules, then we jump into the first read, which is the first um, kind of process in the StudySync reading routine. And you're going to see this repeated in the skill lessons in the close read, but this is a great document for you that highlights the lesson plan objective on the left-hand side, teacher recommendations in the middle, and examples and tips as to how to implement that in your classroom on the right. And I will say again that these examples were used in real teacher classrooms, so they are authentic. And again, this will be repeated in the skill lesson and close read. And just to jump down, see again, you can see the structure of a skill lesson and the close read. ESOL 1 and 2 at the end of every unit has an oral project. At the end of every unit in ESOL 3, there is an extended writing project here instead of the oral project. So you can browse through here and see great strategies and examples of implementing right there. Have a great year.